Hey, Fanout Crew, Brian and Colby here with our first opening episode of the Fanout Pinball Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video, or audio if you're listening to us. We will be doing a weekly podcast dedicated to pinball news, interesting things going on within the pinball world. And also just talking pinball in general. I think it'll be a fun adventure, so stay tuned. Kind of wanted to bring to you some pinball news this week and some interesting
pinball again. That's what this is.
Pinball.
It never ends.
Godzilla
in the pinball.
Can't wait for my Godzilla pinball machine.
Jeez,
I'm addicted.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see that thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet. Anyways, that's not why we're here today. Like, we're not here to talk about Godzilla, even though I can't wait. So Colby, I know you're new to pinball. You're kind of incoming. I'm trying to get you into the hobby. I don't think I'm having to convince you a lot, but you don't have a lot of immediate history. I'm relatively new to the hobby, so I'm still playing catch up most of the time. I feel like I've been in this for maybe 2 years, but this week. One of the smaller pinball companies called American Pinball announced their 4th game ever. That game, it's not a licensed theme, so this is like an original theme that they came up with on their own, called Legends of Valhalla. So it's, themed around Vikings and Thor and Odin, like not necessarily original, but it's their own take on the Legends of Valhalla. With that, they announced 2 trim editions, and I'm going to read this directly from their press release on October 23rd. Legends of Valhalla Deluxe Edition, limited to 300 units. 300 units. They then list all the deluxe features, and then they will also have basically their basic edition of the game that has slightly less bells and whistles and is for an unlimited run. They did not put a sales cap on that. So that was October 23rd. Later that day, apparently they sold out of all 300 of those deluxe editions, which is great.
I'm waiting on the hammer to drop.
Yeah. So that it's great, right? They sold out. Kind of some other pinball history, like Stern Pinball really owns the marketplace right now. Jersey Jack Pinball is up and coming. They're getting big, especially with the launch of the Guns N' Roses pinball machine last year. That won Pinball Machine of the Year.
I didn't know that. Wow, I need to see that.
My buddy has one, and you need to go with me next time I go over there.
Okay.
It is an experience, to say the least. So anyways, those 2 Goliaths are really, they're the majority of the pinball industry right now. American Pinball has been slowly building up, and Spooky Pinball is slowly building up. So anyways, I'm really excited that one of these smaller companies released a game and then sold out within 24 hours. That's great. That's good competition.
Did they
get some more variety out there?
Did they release the pricing and stuff in their?
Oh yeah, this game, I should have touched on that, is I believe $84.99 for the deluxe.
So significantly less than the ones that.
Yeah, so a Stern LE MSRP is $10,500. So this comes in $2,000 less than what you can get a Stern LE for. It is, I think.
Why did I have like 15,000 in my head? Is that like the resale?
That's the second-hand market. Yeah. So
never mind.
It gets weird. You can't really buy a pinball machine direct from Stern, at least not easily. They normally sell a couple of limited editions directly. Otherwise, you have to go through a distributor. And so some distributors will honor that MSRP price. Some will sell it for what people will buy it for, which tends to be thousands of dollars more than what it's worth. Or what the MSRP is, I should say. So I think the price right now in the second-hand market and direct from distributors for Godzilla, the common price I'm seeing is like $13,000 plus.
All right. So,
so anyways,
wow.
Pinball machines are investments, especially when you're talking about these limited models.
Sure.
And that the number of units matters when you're buying a limited unit, because especially in an industry where like even a standard trim may only make several, like even though it's not capped, there's only ever going to be
everything's a limited edition
in the world,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you're making a limited edition of something that's already limited, that production run matters, because that's going to help you determine, if I don't like this game, am I going to be able to get my money back out of it?
Right.
So anyways, this game launched for, I want to say it was $8,500 is the MSRP. They sold out same day. Then rumors started to come in on the Pinside forums stating that some distributors were saying American Pinball changed the production run to 500. So they increased it by 60% from 300 to 500. But hadn't publicly announced it yet. So this is what distributors were saying. And so then obviously, the pinball world was teared asunder with, you have some people that are like, oh, yay, they're doing good. They're selling lots of machines.
Now. Yeah.
And I'm like, Canada Pinball Podcast, like he's loved and hated throughout the pinball universe. Personally, I like the guy. I've never met him in person, so I can't say like how, if he's a good guy, bad guy, whatever, but I will say he often is straight to the point with his news, doesn't hold back the punches. And, I actually found out about some of this from his podcast. So props to Chris over at Canada Pinball Podcast. But after digging into this a little bit more, some people don't care. They're like, oh, yay, they're selling 200 more. They want to make money. Great. And here's the problem. If you say this is a limited edition, anything, whether it's a pinball machine, an action figure, a car, whatever, anybody that's buying that item, like what makes it limited is you're only making that many. So when you go and change that number, after people have already started buying them, you're kind of screwing them.
It would be totally different if they announced 300 and then like the day that things went on sale, if they were like, hey, we're changing this before people actually committed to buy them. That'd be different. But this is like people may be like trying to either resell these or use these as like an investment or something. And now that you have added more of them, they may not be worth as much to that person.
Exactly. Like that value may not be there anymore. It definitely changes things up, especially in the world of pinball. And especially for like, this isn't a Star Wars pinball machine. Like this is just a generic Viking game, basically. Like if it was Star Wars, it probably would still hold its value because it's Star Wars. Everything Star Wars holds its value.
Except the sequel trilogy. Got him! Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So anyways, all of this was rumor. Pinball universe was, divided over it. Even with it as a rumor, my initial thought was, I really hope they don't do this. I'm not interested in the game, first of all. Like, there was no chance I was going to go buy this anyways. I don't have the income to just go buy pinball machines that aren't games that... I barely have money to buy the machines that I really love.
Yeah, you had to sell your previous one to get the money to buy the new Godzilla one.
Exactly.
So, yeah, like, I mean,
they're expensive. It's like buying a car. It really truly is, especially at the... now that these games are upwards of, 8,000 and up, you've got to really want a game to spend that kind of money. That, or you just have more money than sense, and maybe $8,000 isn't a big deal to you. It's a big freaking deal to me. So anyways, trust comes into play, right? So even though I wasn't interested in this game, and I was excited that this company's out there and they're making pinball machines, I now will have no trust in them when they launch future titles.
I'm
automatically out of any limited edition game they ever sell, if they did this. So
it's still not even confirmed yet?
Well, I'm just kind of timeline at this point in time.
Oh Jesus, we're not even like to the goodness.
Yeah, so they kind of let that soak for 2 days, and then yesterday evening they made a public post on Facebook that says, we had ordered parts for 300 deluxe editions. At 300 units, we were sold out before half the world even knew about the release. and that was not our intent. We received orders for 500 units within 24 hours, and at 500 units, anyone who has already placed a confirmed order with a distributor will be accommodated.
So they bought enough parts to sell 300. They got 500 orders. How did they get 500 orders if the number was 300? Like, why didn't they stop taking orders?
We got exactly 200 too many orders.
Yeah. So this is obviously planned by them.
Yeah,
so,
and then they say, like, our intent...
I mean, here's the thing. I'm never going to, like... Well, not never, but, like, there are certain things you can do that I'll get pissed at you if you went to just to make money. But this isn't... I mean, I'm not going to begrudge someone for making money. But at the same time, like, this isn't something...
It's a bait and switch.
Exactly. It's a bait and switch. You can't just be like, hey, there's a finite number of these, and now we're going to almost double the amount of them out there. Like, no. Like, imagine, okay, look, I don't want to get into a, rabbit hole cryptocurrency, but the reason why Bitcoin is so valuable is because there's not many of them left anymore, and because, like, it's finite. If they just come out with a new coin, they branch off, what happens? It's not worth as much.
The more dollars you print, the less the US dollar is worth.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's how it works. The more of something, the less demand there is, therefore it's worth less. So, but anyways, so their wording there is what catches me off guard, because it says, it was never our intent. Let me make sure I'm reading this exactly where it was. At 300 units, we were sold out before half the world even knew about it, and that was not our intent.
It doesn't matter how many people knew about it. You sold 300 units. That's it. Like, you can't take any more orders. Like, I don't understand.
And if you scroll down, it says, Legends of Valhalla Deluxe Edition limited to 300 units. You said it in your own post when you announced this game to the world. It was limited to 300 units. And then you go look through their pictures of all their, like, sales brochures. It says Deluxe Edition limited to 300. Like, they haven't even taken down the posts or altered the images saying limited to 300. Like, so the definition of a limited edition is a numbered run, so that you get X of however many you say you're going to make. You may say it's limited of 1,000 and then not even sell 1,000. Now it's less limited, I guess, or more limited. But it's just like, it has ruined my trust in, even though I was not going to get this game, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people that were not interested in this game that will now be cautious ever giving this company their money for anything that is marked as a limited edition, because having a limited edition with them is open to interpretation. What
if they get the licensing for Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, they've lost you as a client, but you would want that game, but you don't trust that company now. So
exactly. Like, if they
I can see you pause for like 3 seconds thinking about it. You were like,
I thought hard about it. I thought hard about it, right? Like, I got into pinball not too long ago, and I told myself when it came out, especially with Stern, like, the only difference between a Ninja Turtles Premium and a Ninja Turtles Limited Edition is the art. Right. The game plays exactly the same. It has the same code. It has all the same mechanisms. The art is different, and the legs are a different color. Like, it's got different metal accenting on the outside of the cap.
So for you, it wasn't worth that extra benefit then.
And at the time, like, the premiums were around 7,700, I think, and the LEs were $9,000 something. So you're paying like $2,000 more for a different art package and a production number.
Right. And if that's what you want to do with your $2,000, then, by all means do it.
Yeah. And essentially, like, what it boils down to is a limited edition is easier to resell than a premium. Right. Because it's limited. There's a higher demand for it. It maintains its value better than, like, Stern could pump out 1,000 more of these in a month.
But what if Stern were to come out tomorrow and say, hey, we're making the limited editions again. Here's another run of 1,000. Then it's like, it loses its value. So yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah. And I felt like I wanted the perspective of someone that's not into pinball, because what I've been trying to explain to people online is this is not a pinball issue. This is a general business practice issue.
It's just a shitty thing to do, man.
So, but then it gets more interesting.
Oh God.
So enough about American Pinball. I started doing some research on if other companies have done this in the past, and apparently Stern Pinball did this in the past.
Oh, okay.
They made a Munsters pinball machine.
Okay.
I forget what year that came out, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was within the last 5 years, I believe. They added, I think it was like 80 machines to the limited edition count after they had already started selling it. But it was a refundable deposit, I think. In American Pinball, like, they haven't broadcasted it in their post, but apparently people have been getting their deposits back, and some people have canceled their orders after the production number changed. So at least they're doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
But still, the trust is ruined. So then, funny thing, right? The pinball universe is, everyone's kind of divided over this whole topic this week. And then Stern, out of left field today, announces an Elvira limited edition run of 199 games. And I sent you that with no context. They already did a limited edition run of Elvira also within the last 5 years. So this is like...
Is it the same game, though?
Same game.
Pin? Oof. Yeah.
This one is the 40th anniversary limited edition of Elvira to celebrate her 40th anniversary.
So it's different.
It's the same art with the 40th anniversary logo added to it. And different color legs.
Now we're getting into some serious gray area.
Yeah.
Because it's technically different.
Yeah, they changed some stuff. Not a whole lot. The game is exactly the same. The code is exactly the same. Even the back glass is exactly the same. But like, just pretend here under his face.
There's a 40.
Just put a 40 there. The art on the side is exactly the same with the 40 added to it. The only thing they changed was the color of the legs.
Yeah, and see, now the original version of that limited is not going to be as sought after because it's not the 40th. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing,
that
though,
one, that one I think was a run of 500 originally. So now this more limited run of 199 is probably going to be more sought after than that one. So now the value of that limited edition run has
this probably happens a lot
depreciated.
more than we realize. It's just one of those things that you just have to kind of just live with, you know?
Yeah. Not as bad, but it's funny they did that like all within the same week,
right,
of this other event, and it did get me thinking though. So if it was a game that I was invested in, like Godzilla, I love Godzilla. If Stern came out and said, "Hey, we're actually going to increase the limited edition count on this by 200 or whatever," I probably wouldn't, like, I would be upset, but I wouldn't cancel my order because I want the game.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
you know,
and
each buyer is different. Each game they buy is different. It's a different story for each one. If it was something that you were like just not on the fence about, but if it was just something that you wanted but weren't like super passionate about, it'd be different. You know, you got to have the Godzilla one, so that no matter what, like, you're getting that. So
now it has made me question though. Would I get another LE in the future if there's potential?
That's the thing.
Are they going to come out with the Tokyo edition of Godzilla in a couple of years and it's better?
I was going to say, I feel like the answer to this is just buy the premium one and not deal with the limited one and just deal with it buy the stuff that you know you're not going to resell. Like, buy the ones you want to keep, you know?
Yep.
I mean,
and that goes down a whole nother rabbit hole with Godzilla and pinball in general. Is most people buy these games without playing them first.
Yeah, totally. I mean, because you kind of have to.
Yeah, a lot of times, right? Especially like in our area, there's not like a big pinball arcade anywhere where you can just go play games.
Let's talk about that. Like, what happened with The Mandalorian? Like, you were so excited to get it. We did a podcast on it. The whole the rain thing. You were worried it was going to destroy the game, right? That was it. That was the Mandalorian one when you were like,
yeah, the Mandalorian I got rid of.
So what happened with that?
All right, so
Godzilla was just that much more important, and that was it. End of story.
No, so there's like a common phrase you'll hear within the pinball world, and that is this game bolted to the floor or not? And if you have a game that's bolted to the floor, like Turtles is bolted to the floor, I'll never get rid of this. Yeah, I'll never get rid of this game. It's my first pinball game. I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. I don't care if other people like this game or not. This game's always going to stay in my collection.
100%.
Mandalorian, I had a lot of fun with the game. The art package is good. I looked at the audits, and I played it 327 times, I think, before I sold it. I would not have actively posted it for sale, but an opportunity came up where someone local needed one, and Stern kept delaying shipment on him, and he just needed one for his local business. He actually has an arcade in Fort Walton called Rad Bar. Go check it out if you're in the Florida Panhandle. It's an awesome place. You can play my old pinball machine there. He cleared my high scores off the machine, though, and no one's broken my actual grand champion score that I had on it.
One of my friends, Jeremy Branch from Movies Are Terrible on YouTube, went there this past week and played some games there. So
yeah, he probably played Mandalorian.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyways, I just wasn't attached to it the same way. Like, there wasn't anything wrong with the game. It was really fun.
Right. But this was before or after they announced Godzilla?
This was after they announced Godzilla.
Okay, so you would not have sold it without Godzilla being a thing?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it was just a series of circumstances. I was just wondering,
because it was kind of like, this was like your baby, and then like you were like, nah. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, because like I was talking to you about it. Like I was investing in mods. Like I bought the Grogu. Yeah. I was going to add the robotic Grogu into it. I had all these plans, and just didn't pan out.
Right. It's actually right here.
Yeah, it was that exact one. Well, same model at least. But anyways, it wasn't bolted to the floor, and the right opportunity came up where, my friend's a local distributor. He said, "Hey, are you going to want one of these Godzillas they just announced? I have an LE that's allocated to me. If you're interested, you've got dibs." Because I had already told him, like, when there was rumors about Godzilla, I was like, when that game comes out, I'm probably going to spring for an LE. Like, I want to know if you've got one available. And he came to me, and it didn't work out financially at the time. The game came earlier than what I thought it would. Otherwise, I would have never bought Mandalorian. I would have held on to my money and waited for that game.
Right.
So it didn't work out financially. It's hard to just drop $10,000+ on a game at will. And so it's just like, maybe I'll come back and get a premium next year or something when I've got money for it. And it was funny because at the time I actually told him, like, hey, would you consider like a trade-in? Like, I'll trade you back Mandalorian plus cash, and we can do it that way. Then you can resell Mandalorian, and it just didn't work out. And so one of his customers was the one that kept getting delays from Stern. Said, hey, I've had this money tied up for too long. I need to cancel the order. I'll figure something else out and get a different game. So he actually referred him. He's like, hey, I don't know if you know Brian, but Brian was interested in potentially getting rid of Mandalorian so he could fund Godzilla. And it just, we got in contact, and it just worked out.
This is like me with Star Citizen ships. I'm like melting one ship, to get credit to buy the other one. This is the exact same thing.
Yeah,
so,
literally.
Yeah.
It just worked out the right way. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that he had an LE with my name ready to be written on it, I probably would not have sold Mandalorian. I would have waited and saved money, and then eventually bought a Godzilla further down the road.
Sure.
But I'm happy with it. Like, Godzilla is going to be an amazing game. It's designed by Keith Elwin.
So yeah, let's talk about that. I watched a live stream, I guess, from Stern or
Dead Flip is who I sent. Yeah.
Yes. But it was the Stern version of the game, and the way that they have those camera angles is really interesting. Why don't we talk about a little bit, kind of some of the stuff we're working on for the people that have stuck around this long? let's kind of wrap it up and let them know kind of what we're working on with regard to pinball.
So first of all, shout out to Jack Danger at Dead Flip Pinball. Real awesome guy. Go look him up on Twitch. He's probably the number one pinball streamer. Like, he's been doing it for years now, and I think he really set the standard for what pinball streaming and broadcasting should be. And also, congrats to him. I didn't tell you this, Colby. He just officially designed his first pinball machine for Stern that they announced like 2 weeks ago. So he just designed the home edition of Jurassic Park, which is like a...
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, so he was the one that designed it. That was his first official game.
Okay.
So now he has done contract work with Stern to design his first game. But anyways, Jack graciously on his website, on his official site, has an how to stream pinball guide that I've been spending a lot of time going through and trying to basically get a very similar setup to his. Not to copy him more or less, but the dude set the bar for quality. So anyways, we're going to be,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. So Colby and I are going to be doing some experimenting in the near future with doing some pinball gameplay streaming on Twitch. We set up a Twitch. I don't think we've ever even really used it though. So we'll broadcast that information out when we get a little closer. But yeah, so we'll have a good overhead camera. You guys can chat and talk to us while we're playing, and we'll have live capture of the screen so you can see what the hell's going on. I'm only going to have access to 2 games, so there won't be a whole lot of variety at first. But I've got friends with games, so maybe it's a traveling show in the local area. But I'm looking forward to it. So there'll be some gameplay. I've gotten a little better at pinball over the last 2 years, so there might be some like basic how-to stuff thrown in there too.
So if we can like do some tutorials and stuff, that'd be cool. Because
like some general tutorials, maybe go over game rules of the games I've got access to. Show you guys how things work. Sometimes it's a little boring. Like, it's not for everybody to like talk about game rules and stuff. But if you're into pinball, you probably are into game rules, because that's how you get better at pinball. Is you need to know the rules to get points. But anyways, we'll be going down that path, and then also some like general maintenance and maybe some mod videos and stuff as opportunities arise or maintenance is needed. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. Now, I think I'm going to start doing a short, and I don't know if it'll be just me or whoever I bring on at the time, if you're into it, Colby, but probably start doing a weekly pinball podcast, more or less, just talking about what's new in the industry when there is news. There's not always news. I have a feeling there will be a lot this week and next week with Pinball Expo happening in Chicago this week. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But people showed up for my Godzilla reaction, even though my mic was up here instead of in front of my face, and the video quality wasn't that good because I don't do this type of thing on my own normally. Colby does all the technical stuff. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I could rant about this all night because it's pinball.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, yeah, I mean, this is cool. I'm definitely excited to kind of dive a little deeper into this world. I mean, you know me, man. Like, when I find a hobby that I'm into, whether it's mechanical keyboards, you can't see that one. Yeah, you kind of can. Right above my shoulder there, the one that I made, other shoulder. And it's just, I like to get passionate about stuff like this, so I'm always interested about how things work mechanically. I know you've got some sort of vintage arcade games too. Maybe we could kind of talk about those and like show how to work on those and that kind of stuff. So just things we're still working on getting the proper equipment. Brian and I both have new cameras. We've got pretty good audio set up. Well, we need to kind of work out a way to kind of do it sort of like portably, you know.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. And I mean, even if we have to use like a cell phone for a while, you know, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Brian, anything else before we end this one? I'll let you bring this one
home. No, I was just gonna say, you know, touching on what Colby talked about with upgrades, like between the two of us, I don't even want to guess a dollar amount, but we've invested a nice chunk of change on cameras and lighting and mics and mic arms and time into this. So
yeah, go back and watch our very first video, the Captain America and Winter Soldier reaction, and just look at the difference and let us know what you think, because we feel like right now, at least as far as when we're sitting down at our desk, we have a pretty solid setup.
Yeah.
So We're working on
I don't know that it's the best in the world or anything.
No, certainly not.
By any means, but compared to where we were to where we are now, I think our investments have paid off. Hopefully you guys are seeing the quality difference. But to say, if you could just go like, subscribe, comment, whatever, that helps us justify continuing to make improvements and invest our time into this. It's fun for us to do it, but you know, we want this to be fun for you guys, and we want to build a community, so that feedback also helps us make better content for you in the future.
100%.
But that's all I've got. So, you know, kind of on that same token, like, subscribe, look out for those videos. The pinball streaming will hopefully probably do a first test stream within the next week or two. I'm waiting on a couple items to come in the mail for that.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Brian, thanks for kind of, you know, taking the lead on this one. This was our first official, you know, pinball podcast episode. You know, like I said, or like Brian said, please just throw us a like if you can. I mean, it really helps the channel more than you know. And as always, fan out.
Fan out.
See you guys.